Hello kiddos, Mr. Solsberry here with another installment in word work. We are on to sorts number 25. I have the words there laid out as you can see. And actually sorts number 25 is just reviewing of what we've done so far this year. Okay, it's actually no different. What we've been doing so far over the last, I guess, about a month and a half is basically been looking at first and second syllable of words. Is the long vowel in the first syllable of the word, or is the long vowel in the second syllable of the word? A lot of it is based on how you have to say the words, right? And what we've been doing throughout the weeks, which that we wouldn't want to change what we've been doing now that we're going to review, is to, of course, pronounce the words, make sure that we're properly saying them, but then breaking up the syllables. Because it seems to make sense to break up the syllables first, because then we're going to be looking in the right portions of the words for those long vowels. Okay, I find that to be the easiest way to do that. So first what we'll do, like we've done in the past, is I'll kind of just read through the words, make sure that we know them all and what we're saying them properly. We can't recognize long vowels if we're mispronouncing the words, of course, because that's the way that we're going to be able to hear those long vowels. Just remember, we have the long A, E, I, O, and U. Okay, so the A makes the A sound, E sound, so on and so forth for those long vowels. So that's what you're going to be wanting to look for. Okay, so we have invade, flowing, crayon, salute, awake, polite, enclose, dispute, lightning, debate, delete, decay, compose, remote, advice, refrain, dainty means small, freezer, brightly, useful, speaker, disease, and define. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is, and I'll kind of model it on invade. Okay, again, don't glue in any of your words until after you've double checked to make sure that you've done them properly. Makes sense because, of course, we don't want to have to take those out after we glue them in because they'll rip. So we have the word invade, all right? All we've been talking about over the last month is really breaking up these words into the two syllables, and then to be recognizing where we're going to be finding that long vowel sound, because you're going to start to see patterns. So the way that we do that is we basically say the word, and then where we naturally will break it up. Invade. Okay, so that are my two syllables. You don't have to write this on there, but that's my first syllable. That's my second syllable. Okay, and then so what we've been doing all the last few months, is doing this, which I think you guys are pretty strong at. Now, which of those syllables has the long vowel? The long vowel, not just a vowel, because then we have I as a vowel and then A as a vowel. The I vowel sound, when it would be long, would be I. So that would actually say ein. Okay, einvade, because that's the I, long I sound. Well, it's actually not a long I, it's in, that's the short I, that's that little U looking thing on top of it. And then we have aid, A. So I'm saying that A sound, okay? And so then really, all we have to do is that you're recognizing that the long vowel is in the second syllable, but I think some of you have started to find a pattern there, right? Is that oftentimes when you have a vowel consonant E at the end of the word in the second syllable, it becomes long, okay? So what I'd like you to do is to basically do that with all your words, okay? Polite. Polite, okay? So we have the first syllable, second, actually makes an A sound almost, okay? So that's not gonna work. Ite, I, okay? That's my long I, vowel, consonant, E. It won't always be like that. Let me try to find one that's not. Here we go. Now remember, there's this weird thing that happens when we have basically letters that work well together, like a GH, a PH, an ST, an SH. And so this is freight in, okay? And so here's actually where the syllable's broken up. Here's the second syllable. This is the first. But that GH is one of those special ones that are together. Actually the GHT, but GH in itself. And in this case, it actually will make the I long, okay? Now you may not even know that, but you know how to say the word, and you can recognize that it's ite, n, and that's actually an I sound, so it's actually going to be a short E. And so then you can see here that the long I is actually in the first syllable. No, you don't really need to know right off the top of the bat. We'll get better at this the more we work with the words, that the reason it becomes a long I is because we have this GH here, okay? But eventually through time, now that you're looking at these words in terms of breaking the words up into syllables and then looking about what's happening inside the words, I think that you're going to be much better at this. A lot of these things, it's almost like a sponge, okay? Your brains are like the sponge, all right? Let me zoom back out. And when we do these lessons, I'm not expecting for you to soak up everything that I'm throwing out there. What I'm doing is I'm showing you, okay, here's where the water is spilled. Throughout the week, I want you to take the sponge and clean up the water. Meaning, I want you to take your brains, do the activities, and soak up, okay, as much of what you notice, okay, whatever patterns that you notice, okay. It may be a different pattern than what I have noticed, and that's cool too, because as long as that pattern, here's one we did last week, right, with the two E's, okay, freezer. The reason it's a long is because it actually has that EE in there. We also talked about on how to make that into a short E sound. Of course, that's not a word, but that would be freezer, okay, because this EA makes that short E sound, okay, where you have your double E that makes that long one. So I'm not even, what I'm saying is that if you soak up any of this information, okay, just through you naturally exploring these words, that's what I'm looking for, okay? Remember, we are looking at the whole English language. Now, we're not doing it, of course, today or even this year, but for us to be expecting that we understand all of the reasons of why words are pronounced the ways that they are, when there's billions of words, it would be insane to expect that of you. It'd be insane to expect that of me, of anybody it would be. And so all I'm saying is I don't want you to feel as if that your sponge isn't soaking up enough water. As long as your sponge is soaking up anything, then your sponge is doing what it needs to be doing. And then the more that your sponge soaks up, the next time it'll soak up a little bit more and a little bit more until, you know, over a longer period of time, your sponge is just full of this knowledge. And you don't even know it. It kind of just sucks in there without you even knowing it. So the moment that you might start to feel a little bit frustrated, or some of the things that I'm saying you don't really understand, it's okay. Okay, as long as that you understand what I'm asking you to do here, and as you're doing this, you're thinking, okay, am I seeing any patterns? That's it. As long as you can do that, okay, because that will apply to everything that we do in here. Everything is doing that. Finding a long vowel in the first syllable, that'll work with words that have a long vowel in the first syllable, but it won't work with them all. So I want you to focus a lot more on how you're working, not what I'm teaching you. All right? So like we've been doing, just put them on the page, okay? Don't glue them in yet. I'm not going to make a second video like last week. I didn't make a second video either. I'll just take a picture of what mine looks like, and then you can reference it. And then throughout the week, as you're doing this, I'd like you to really, I guess here, next week we're doing ambiguity. ambiguous. Vowels, oi and ow. So now we're starting to get in some kind of cool ones, the oi sound. That's French. Okay, but for this week, okay, ignore this. We're looking at long vowels in the first and the second syllable. Review. Okay, so this is all review. Get your GHT, that's going to make that I long. 2 E's going to be long. Vowel, consonant E. Okay, that's going to make the I long. Remember that A and Y is a special one that makes a long A sound. Vowel, consonant E. Vowel, consonant E. This one. Look, vowel, consonant E, but it's in the middle. That's the GHT, which is going to make that I long. Vowel, consonant E. Remember the OW makes that O long. You might not remember all these, and that's okay. Vowel, consonant E. Okay, even here has my EA. That's why it makes that a long E sound and not a short. It's ease. If you did two, well, actually, that one's a kind of a unique one. Dispute. Okay, vowel, consonant E. Just find these patterns, you'll be all set. All right, and then also for your information, this week, I'm doing this on Thursday. This video is actually from Thursday. You won't watch it until next Tuesday. I'm out next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday I'm back. Okay, and so you'll still come see me, and then I can chat with you guys, see if you still like watching the videos. I mean, any days that I'm out of the building when I'm supposed to see you, kind of have to do the video thing, but if you would prefer a different way to do this, I'm all ears for that. I think that this is something that we can work through together to create a learning environment that works best for you guys. So it could be different from each one of you. I could, work with a couple of you if you'd prefer to work with me, and then a couple could watch the video, and then we could flip back and forth. Really, what I'm doing is that don't think that you need to fit into the mold of how I'm teaching it. I want you to consider what works best for you, and then I'll change to fit your needs, okay? And so advocate for yourself. Tell me, I don't really like the video. I would prefer if you came in and you saw me about it, and we could talk through that, okay? Good luck, and yeah, have a nice week if I don't see you around the hallway.